to my channel. This week, as I hinted at last week, we have one hell of a video. It's probably going to be very lengthy because, one, I ramble into explanations. As you can tell from the title, this is a video about pairings I did not intend to create, allow to come to fruition, allow to come into existence. There are a couple of pairings that I originally had on the list that I took off because either they didn't work or they resulted in me no longer working on the character and also not speaking to the character. So we have a list of 11 pairings that I did not intend either to create, to come to fruition, to allow at all. I have 11 of them, and we're going to go from 11 to 1, which is, in my opinion, from the either shortest lived, or basically we're going from the ones that I was, I adapted to easily to the ones where I had to stop writing for a while and just be like, ha! I've said it time and time again, sometimes characters write themselves, and that's generally how these pairings came to be. We will start with number 11, which is my original character, Mariah Snow, and Game of Thrones character, Gren, brother of the Night's Watch. Mariah, out of all my girls, probably has the most love interest simply because she bounces all over Westeros and Essos for the first 3 seasons of the show. But Gren is the one man I never intended for. To be honest, she wasn't romantically interested in him. She just found him a great comfort and a shoulder to lean on when Jon wasn't there. Gren, as we all know, dies at the end of season 4, and that kind of kills any platonic or romantic relationship that they could have had. I didn't really see it going anywhere. I had originally aimed for someone else for Mariah, who she is currently with, but it did have its purposes while it lasted. It did work in a way. She was, like I said, she was comforted by his presence. He did help her in almost a brotherly sort of way. At one point, she describes her relationship with him to Jon as being like that she had with Robb back when they all lived at Winterfell. Number 10, my OC Willow Xavier and X-Men character John Adalance, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, aka Pyro. Willow is my most recent character breakdown, having gone up last week, and in her post I didn't mention anything about romantic interests or a love life, for the simple reason is she's not obvious about it. So when her and Pyro's thing popped up at the beginning of the second movie, I was confused. I hadn't intended to ever show her with anyone, not because I didn't want her to have a romantic relationship, but because there's so many other romantic relationships going on in the movies that I just didn't want to throw Willow's in there as well. I kind of wanted to just leave her as, a third party that was just like, yep, you all realize you're screwing up like everything because you have the hots for someone, right? Okay, cool, fine. Yeah, I decided her having a romantic interest didn't need to be part of the main storyline. But she and Jon just play off each other in a way that works really well. Yes, he still joins Magneto, but after the war is over, post-third movie, they do start working their way towards where they were before he left. It's got a few kinks and, bumps along the way, but it's working itself out. Number 9, my OC Kaylin Mustang and Full Metal Alchemist character Jean Havoc. I haven't spoken about Kaylin yet on my blog, though her post is coming. Not anytime in the next month or so, but it is coming. Kaylin is the sister of Rory Mustang, so you can see why any relationship for her wasn't at all planned, because, when your brother can literally snap fire into existence, dating isn't big on the agenda for the guy's safety. But, something about the way that Kaylin and Havoc wrote together, just, even though Havoc is the playboy of the office, and he's got a new girlfriend every other week, mainly because his girlfriends keep falling for Roy, there was just something about the way the two of them played off each other that was just interesting. Kaylin and Havoc do spend a lot of time together, both in the office and when Roy sends his team places. When Kay's not with Riza, she's with Havoc. They're the two people outside of Ed and Al that Roy trusts the most with his sister. So I guess it makes sense that a relationship developed from that, but you know, I would say I was as shocked as Roy. Okay, maybe not as shocked as Roy, but, you know, I was definitely up there. Number 8, my OC, Marin Zio, and Star Wars character Luke Skywalker. When my children go for it, they go for it. This pairing popped up at me during a funeral, of all things. Not in real life. It wasn't a funeral I was at. I do know when to stop writing. But during the funeral of Marin's adoptive mother, Marin runs away from the funeral in guilt, and Luke follows her, and the words he speaks to her and the way he makes her feel, it definitely wasn't the brother-sister relationship vibe I was aiming for. And obviously it's not an easy relationship because Marin knows who Luke is, she knows who Leia is, she knows the truth about Vader and the Empire, she knows all of that, so that is a strong barrier between the two of them, romantically, that I wasn't planning on trying to solve with those kind of feelings in the way. Again, though, I work with what they give me, and yes, it is making Marin's story a lot more complicated, but so was throwing her into Rogue One, so maybe Marin was just meant to be complicated. Number 7 is probably my most oops pair, but it is not as surprising as some of my other ones that come later in the list, so that's why it's only number 7. And that is my OC, Alyssa, and Doctor Who / Torchwood character, Captain Jack Harkness. My children need to re-eval their romantic interests. I'm just telling you that. Everyone who knows Doctor Who knows who Jack Harkness is. Intergalactic playboy who will sleep with anything, and I do mean anything. Anyone who watches Torchwood knows he has a long-standing thing with Yonto Jones. I can't really say what it is, because I have no idea how to word it. He and Alyssa kind of have the same thing going that he has with Yonto. Anytime the Doctor crosses paths with Jack, they pick up right where they left off. She understands his ways, doesn't want him to change, and she does understand sharing him with any other person he might, you know, fall for, and that includes Yonto, who she loves. He's awesome. But all of these things that, you know, would make a normal relationship difficult doesn't mean she doesn't love him. And she does. It's weird. And my children will one day, they can't drive me to drink, but never mind. Just, it's definitely one of the weirder pairings that my children have come up. I'm left sitting there going, did I drop you on your head or something? Number 6 is a pairing that I literally had to stop and was like, what happened here? Okay. And it is my OC, Nami Uchiha, and Naruto character Kakashi Hatake. Before you ask, yes, I have Naruto characters. Their videos are coming in a while. But, when this relationship formed, I had to stop what I was doing to stare at it. 1, age gap. 2, she wasn't even a teenager when the show started. 3, the fuck, Nami? I love Kakashi, who doesn't, but putting him with my OCs who are a year younger than the Konoha 11 was not part of the plan. Ever. No. Didn't do it. Until Nami decided that that was who she wanted to be with. Like, thanks, kiddo. Totally wanted to work with that. Not. So, I mean, age gaps aren't a thing for me. I don't care, but when I start a character off and they're not even a teenager and the person they're going for is an adult and it's like this isn't awkward at all. So I did have to futz with, I didn't futz with either of their ages, I just futzed with timelines and time jumps and things like that, you know. I had to make it work to the point where I wasn't immediately gonna go, somebody please call the police on me. Number 5 is my OC, Kat Winchester, and supernatural character Crowley, King of Hell. Ha! Adorable as these two are, and they are ridiculously adorable, I just wish they hadn't worked out, and that is simply because of how Crowley's storyline ended. For anyone who doesn't know, I won't spoil, but its ending makes me wish this pairing wasn't so freaking cute. But they did work out to, you know, my great surprise. Not that Winchester's picking the wrong bedfellows is, you know, wrong, it's basically canon, but I managed to make it work without making Crowley out of character. I wasn't expecting to be able to do that, mainly because of the type of character he is. But seriously, they are ridiculously adorable, and I don't want to write their ending, because unfortunately it is going to be their ending. I mean, I could change how things go, but no, it is going to be their ending. I will probably have side stories where I do change the ending, but it's just, you know, it's very weird. I mean, not that, you know, Mark Sheppard isn't a very attractive looking man, because god damn he is. It's just, you know, King of Hell, Winchester. But that's how it happened. Number 4 is one of those pairings where it wasn't just an oops, it was a what did I just do, but somehow it works oops. And it is my OC, Taryn Greymark, and Shadowhunter Chronicles characters, yes plural, High Warlock Magnus Bane, and Shadowhunter Alexander Lightwood. Like I said, if there was ever an oops pairing, these 3 are it. Even before things got romantic, Taryn, my little half-breed, for her, Magnus and Alec were her world. They were her absolute best friends. They mean as much to her as her father, and she would easily end the world for any of them. But that was all I was ever intending it to be. Taryn, the way I wrote her, she wasn't really romantically interested in people. That's just the type of person she was. She loved them, yes, but, you know, sexual attraction just, it wasn't a thing. Romantic attraction, it wasn't a thing for her. And I had never written a character like that before, but that's just the way Taryn had written. Until a side story I wrote, which was meant to depict the bond between the 3 of them, Taryn had me writing a 3-way. To be fair, the boy started it. But I was still in very uncharted waters. It was so uncharted, I might as well have been in Atlantis. But the way the 3 of them just fit so seamlessly together, not to make that dirty, it's the easiest blending of characters I've ever written, even though it was something I'd never done before. I had no idea what I was doing, but it worked beautifully, and I can't bring myself to regret it. Not with how much I love Magnus and Alec and how much Taryn loves them. I mean, it's just, they're they're them, and that's really all there is to it. Number 3, my OC, Heidi Lily Potter, and Harry Potter character, Fred Weasley. This is one of my most beloved pairings, and I had absolutely no plan to have it come about. At least, not at the time it started. In book 5, right after school starts, Heidi breaks up with Seamus for his refusal to believe Harry and Heidi over Voldemort's return. Romance wasn't on her radar after that, not with how hurt she was and how hard everything was becoming. In school and in the Order. But it didn't start as romance. Fred was just a friend. He was just there when she needed someone. He was, you know, especially when Remus and Tonks get sent away from the school and she has no one to talk to, she talks to him. She talked to him. He helped her. He was there for her. And he didn't push his feelings on her. He didn't even try and bring them up until she brought them up. And honestly, I feel so much better about that pairing than I did about putting her with Seamus. It just feels better. And I know there are some people out there who disagree with me putting her with Fred, who disagree with me not patching things up between her and Seamus, but like I said, I feel better with how things turned out between her and Fred than how things were going with her and Seamus. And even though it wasn't planned, the way it came together, and he wasn't planned, he was not who I hadn't actually decided who she was going to end up with. So, you know, I don't think Fred was even on my radar for her, but I couldn't have asked for a better start, and where they are now is amazing. Number 2, this pairing made me fear for my character's life, legitimately, because it is my OC, Emerella Stark, and Game of Thrones character, Jaime Lannister, Kingslayer. Yes, you read that right. You heard me right. Emerella went and picked Jamie. I don't make them insane on purpose, I swear. In all fairness, I did plan on putting Emerella and Jamie together, but I didn't intend for them to actually fall in love. Their marriage was a forced arrangement by Tywin, kind of like Sansa and Tyrion, in an effort to control as much of Westeros as possible. Unfortunately, Emerella played right into his hand and had no choice. However, Tywin never saw his son falling in love with Emerella, and for him to swear his loyalty to her, because that's what he does. When he finds out about their engagement, he swears to her that if she is to be his bride, if she is to be his new life, he swears fealty to her and no one else. He does still have his feelings for Cersei. Obviously, things still happen between them, but what he feels for Emerella is proving to be stronger. Purer, I guess is the way I want to put it. And number 1, last but not least, literally this pairing is why I'm not allowed to talk about this character in front of my sister. You all know who I'm talking about. It is my OC, Effie Stalinsky, and Teen Wolf character Derek Hale. Sweet baby Jesus. I mean, I created Effie to be the bridge to help Derek and Styles be together. But by the end of season 1, I knew I'd failed at that mission, because the way that Effie and Derek were writing in scenes together, it was just like, fudge my life. As I said, I am no longer allowed to talk about Effie in front of my sister because she is one of the original Starrick fans and I value breathing. Yeah, Effie. But she is also one of my most beloved pairings, one of my most successful pairings, right up there with Heidi and Fred, and I can't regret putting them together, because the way the story has gone since putting them together, I mean, it's been awesome, and I just love the bond that they have, and they even work Styles into it. Not the romantic portion of it, don't go there, but the way they are, you know, Styles is just as important to them as they are to each other. And really, I mean, the way they are is how I always imagined I'd write Styles and Derek to be, so win-win? Maybe? Possibly? Shut up. And that is this week's video. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know down in the comments below which pairing was most surprising to you. Please be nice, because remember, all but one of the pairings are still together, so I did take what I was given and go with it and make something out of it. Let me know if you've ever read a pairing you didn't see coming, or if you've ever written a pairing that you didn't intend. As always, all my social media handles will be down in the description below, along with my blog if you want to read the post that goes along with this video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you did enjoy the video. Also, hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell, along with turning all your notifications on so you get a notification every time I upload. And I will see you guys next week with another character breakdown. Bye!